How you guys doing today? Coming at you live from the great state of Kentucky. Well, I'm not in Kentucky, but that's where the story's from today. So, guys, today we're going to talk about Miss Kandi Green Gonzalez. Now, Miss Kandi Green Gonzalez is a 36-year-old mother to a little 6-year-old boy, and she's been missing since June 1st of this year. So it's getting up there. She needs to be located, and she needs to be located ASAP. Now, this story starts out basically very interestingly because first thing I seen was this video, and I was like, video, wow, surveillance footage, huh? It's not surveillance footage, it's actually a video of Kandi right before she disappeared. Well, I mean, leading into her disappearing. It shows the last time she was seen by anybody in this video. And the video is kind of weird. There's a lot of strange things about the video. We'll go over some of those. I'll try to add the video to the link, let you guys see it yourself, because some of it's kind of hard to explain, and some of it's kind of how you see things, you know. Some people see things kind of one way, some see things totally different. But I think the easiest way to straighten all that out is just let everybody take a look at that video. But a little backstory on Kandi. Like I said, she's 36-year-old, single mother of one young son, 6-year-old, and she has a boyfriend, and she lives with her boyfriend. Now, I guess that's where we should begin, because the day she went missing, what happened was, apparently her boyfriend, who is Jeff Blackburn, had decided they'd been fighting or something, and he said he had kicked her out. So this picks up immediately. After he had kicked her out, she shows up at these people's property. And the first thing we see is that she seems pretty upset, and that outside of that, there seems to be something else kind of going on. Her demeanor just seems a little off. A lot of people have described the video as she seems to be disoriented going through a neighbor's backyard. And it's kind of odd because I've always see it described as a neighbor's backyard, but it doesn't seem to me that that lady knows her, or if she does, she doesn't know much about her. Because it shows Kandi on this woman's property, and the lady is trying to kind of get her to talk to her, and she's not saying much. Apparently she gets out her mother. She wants to speak to her mother, and the lady attempts to call her mother, but gets her mom's voicemail. So she doesn't actually get to communicate to her mother at that point. Now, there's a little bit of back and forth between Kandi and this woman, and then there's a guy there, and he's filming this interaction. It's not a very long video, and there's not much said by Kandi on the video at all. So I'm thinking there was a little bit of interaction before the video began, or before they began filming the interaction between Kandi and this lady, who it seems like is the owner of the property that she's at. Now, there's one real interesting thing about the video, and I watched this multiple times because I kept trying to determine what was being said. My wife watched it multiple times with me, and I kept asking her, what does this sound like? Because at one point in the video, the guy says, "Is that a drug dealer?" And what he's referring to is, now he never puts the video on what he's seeing, but you can hear a vehicle pull up, and that's what the guy says. He's like, "Is that a drug dealer?" And I thought that was weird, because why, when somebody pulls up, do you just say, "Is that a drug dealer?" I'm getting the idea that that guy had thought that this person was maybe after Kandi, but not much is mentioned. It's a real small part where all this happens. And it seems like upon the arrival of whoever this is, Kandi gets extremely upset and she bails, man. She is gone. The guy even attempts to tell her that there's snakes like in the area she's going into, and either she didn't hear him or she didn't care. Whatever spooked her bad enough that she wasn't interested in snakes or none of that. She left, and she left with a purpose. And, saying that, interestingly, 2 days later, they actually find her shoes in the creek and that's right where she's going into when she's on camera at the very end. So a couple days later, they find her shoes right there in that area. And then it's told that after a search and some dogs, that the scent had actually went quite a ways further, and it actually ended on the street where she lived with her boyfriend. So my take on that is, I'm thinking she wasn't getting nowhere at that property. Something spooked her, but then she eventually decided she was going to go home and probably try to get her phone or something like that, or pocketbook, more clothes, because that thing she was wearing, and it's in the description of her missing persons thing, and you can see it in the video itself. It's not much, If it got cold, she'd be freezing, because it's like a little shorts and a little top, and it's real thin, and it's not much to survive the elements with. So, like I said, they say the scent actually ended up on the street that she was fleeing from in the beginning. So, makes you think she was going back to get some stuff. She hadn't been able to get any help, so she was going to go back, get her phone, maybe make a call, something to that effect. But the last time she's ever seen is the end of that video, and that's the last time she's ever been seen. Now, the boyfriend is, I'm sure, suspect number one. They've been together for about 2 years. This guy has a checkered past. I'm not going to get into all of it. Let's just say that he has done things similar to this and a lot of other things. I seen stuff back in 2013. Now, what I seen, I couldn't 100% confirm was him, but it was from the same little city of Prestonburg. It was the exact same name, and it was some charges for illicit substances. So makes me think it was him. And, in a lot of the stuff I've watched, they've told some stories about him. He apparently had held somebody for a while against their will, and somehow he didn't get in much trouble for that. Now, there's reasoning behind that, everyone seems to think, and that is that his father, who is John, and he used to be a sheriff of Polk County. Now, this guy, John, who is Jeffrey's dad, John Blackburn, he had actually been the head or the president of the Kentucky Sheriff's Association. So not only was he a sheriff himself, he was the head of the whole organization of sheriffs in Kentucky. But the thing about him is, I get the feeling he had the holier than thou mentality, because he got a DUI got kicked off the head of the association, and he ended up resigning. So, don't it make you think he was one of those that's like, I'm bulletproof, ain't nothing can touch me. And then he got pulled over, and when he got pulled over, he was like, hey, don't you know who I am? I'm the head of the blah blah. And the cop was like, dude, that don't mean nothing to me. You're drunk, you're driving, that's not good, we can't have that. You know, it makes me happy when people like that get busted. Don't you? It does a little bit, it does. Come on. Yeah. But there's issues with the local authorities for sure, and I think that's a big problem in this case. Every case you hear of, somebody is going to insinuate that it's crooked policing that's the issue. Now, this one actually could have something to that, because it seems like, and in like these small towns, like the sheriff is a huge figure when there's not a lot of government in the towns. You know what I'm saying? Like the smaller towns, not the bigger cities where you got boards and all this and that. Well, in the smaller rural areas, a person like this thinks they are literally the president of the area. You know what I'm saying? It's just how it is. And, these are elected positions too, so they've got some kind of supporters, so whether it be nefarious or not, it's different in these rural areas with these police. But, like I said, I'm going to show you this video, and the mannerisms and how she replies to the questions, which she doesn't reply much. I'm not sure what to make of her behavior, But I will say this. It gets brought up that, she had an arrest on like May 8th, and this happens on the 1st of June, so it was right before that. And it was for some minor stuff. The citations that she got wrote were for speeding, just public intoxication, and third-degree criminal trespass. So these aren't going to probably lead to any jail time. She may have gotten some fines out of it, but that's about it. And my thinking is, too, I've never seen anybody get a speeding ticket and a public intoxication ticket. So the charges could have probably been in that DUI range, I would assume. So, that could be a little bit of a sign of some of Jeff's pull right there with the police. You never know, Maybe he helped her get out of some of that. I don't know how much power his dad would have still had, because he's not the acting sheriff anymore. But, a lot of people, ties run deep, They've done favors for people, and they expect returns for that kind of stuff. So, like I said, it's really interesting, the police connection. Is it something for sure? I'm not positive. The number to use if you have, any information, leads, tips, that sort of thing, is the number for the Kentucky State Police Pikeville post. That number is 606-433-7711. I'll make sure I add that across the screen in the video and give you plenty of time to write it down if you need to. If you got any tips, stuff like that, that's the people you want to call. And, it's also, the family has raised a $10,000 reward, pretty much, it seems like, on their own, because it doesn't seem like this family has gotten much assistance from anyone, to be honest. Now, I realize that the Kentucky State Police is now investigating this. It says the Pikeville Post. So that makes you think there could be some ties with local law enforcement there. I thought, after seeing all this and going through it, I think the best thing the family could do is try to get an agency outside of that area involved, if they possibly can. Now, a lot of times, I don't know how big Prestonburg is exactly, but it seems like they could, ask for some assistance from someone else and maybe they could get it. It'd be really nice if they could get some FBI in on this, because it's going to be pretty hard to have some crooked policing going on around the FBI. So if you could, in some way, any way possible, get their assistance, that would be the thing to really work at, I think. You know? And they have some GoFundMe and Facebook stuff. Just type her name into the search thing on Facebook and it'll come up. You can find out all about that if you want to help out. I think the family could really use some support. It seems like they're not getting much, and there's been some searches. You would think, that if the dog tracked all that area all the way to that road, that something happened then, that she either got a ride somewhere and something happened, or that's where maybe Jeff had met back up with her. I think there's something to be said in that. I had a few takeaways after going through it, and a couple of things that I thought that stuck out was the doubling back. How, she had left there. You could tell if nothing else, it's pretty obvious she's terrified of something. So I'm thinking that she's doubled back, though, out of necessity, because she didn't have nothing on her, no phone, anything, purse, zero. She had zero on her. And by the time she had made it back to where the scent was lost, she didn't even have shoes. So you think she was probably trying to double back to get home, to get some of her belongings, or, it never really states if she had a car at home. Maybe she was trying to do that. Maybe get back to her phone to call her mother again herself. But that's what I'm thinking the doubling back was all about, because it seems like the way the dog traced it, that she was heading back home. And like I said, that's probably when she very likely could have had a run-in with Jeffrey. The connection to the local 5-0 could be something to that, because there's some stories out there on shady activity regarding him, and past episodes of holding people against their will. So there could very well be something to that. Her behavior in the video, it doesn't seem normal, and I think if you watch it, you're going to agree with that. It doesn't. It seems erratic. Seems like, I don't know if she's ignoring the questions, or she doesn't want to answer them, or she's concentrated on something else to where she's not even hearing, them talking to her. But something is definitely up. And it doesn't seem like it's just fear either. It seems like there's something else going on. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to take a guess at it, but something's wrong. And a lot of people make a lot out of the behavior of the people in the video, which I don't think they handled the situation great. I think as soon as she showed up, they should have called the police. That's what I would have done. You can tell that something's wrong with her, and she's extremely scared. So the best thing to have done would have been the second they seen her to call the police. Now, they did try to call her mom. They left a voicemail. But after, that happened, she disappears off into the woods. And you got to think, maybe if they could have got the police there early on, we wouldn't be looking for her right now. So they didn't handle it great. And, they made kind of some unsensitive comments. I'm not going to give them a bunch of grief about that, because the stuff I heard them say didn't seem like they were saying it loud enough that she heard it. And, you got to give them a little bit of, how would you react? Somebody comes up on your property acting extremely scared and, extremely off. She didn't seem altogether there. It seemed like there was definitely something besides fear that was affecting her behavior. And, that's her story. I'm not saying she did anything wrong. Whatever the situation was, it doesn't qualify that she's missing right now. She needs to be found. There's a little boy missing his mommy, so let's try to share this a little bit, get it out there, and hopefully this will give her a little bit of publicity. I don't have a huge following, but the ones I do are very good people, and hopefully you guys will share this. And you know, all it takes is one person to see the right thing, and boom, we could have some answers. So as always, guys, I'll see you later. I hope you like it. Let me know.